Hello, friends. Today we'll be learning about Chaudhry Rehmat Ali. Chaudhry Rehmat Ali was a passionate young Indian Muslim who was studying in England in the 1930s during the time the RTCs or the Roundtable Conferences were taking place, and he attended all of those conferences. He is known as one of the earliest proponents of the creation of the state of Pakistan, and he's also called as the originator of the Pakistan movement. He was a law student at the University of Cambridge. So when the RTCs were taking place in 1933, he was studying law there. So he attended those conferences in London, and his basic purpose was to discuss the position of the Hindus and the Muslims in India. At that time, he wrote a pamphlet, and this is why he is well known. This is one of his major contributions. He wrote a pamphlet which was titled Now or Never, or Are We to Live or Perish Forever? So, this was the title of the pamphlet. In the pamphlet, he addressed this pamphlet he addressed to the Indian and the British delegates in the third roundtable conference. Okay. Now, he was against the views of a lot of other Muslim representatives at the Congress, at the conference. Now, those Muslim representatives were of the view that federation was a solution for the Indian problem. However, Chaudhry Rehmat Ali refused to accept that as a solution. Instead, he said that the only solution to the Indian problem lay in the creation of a separate homeland, and that was Pakistan. However, his ideas during those days, during the time of that conference, they were dismissed completely as student ideas. They were belittled. Okay. So Chaudhry Rehmat Ali, he was very disappointed, and but he did not stop with his efforts. So he was against many of the other Muslim representatives. I have already discussed this. Now his ideas were finally accepted in 1940. You will see how they got accepted in the Lahore Resolution. Lahore Resolution, therefore, is also called as Pakistan Resolution. Now, Chaudhry Rehmat Ali, he came with the term Pakistan, and he believed that Pakistan was both a Persian and an Urdu word. It was composed of letters that were taken from the areas of our homelands, like P for Punjab, A Afghania, K Kashmir, I Iran, S Sindh, T for Turkestan, A for Afghanistan and Balochistan, and N concluded the term Pakistan. So it was both a Persian and an Urdu word, and the letters were taken from the names of our homelands. One thing that you got to understand here is that he had very rigid views. He was of a very hawkish and a very radical approach. He had an uncompromising attitude when it came to allocation of the land during the time of partition. He criticized most of the Muslim leaders for their accommodative policies, and especially he criticized Jinnah for not trying enough. He was unhappy with the way partitioning of the land was taking place. His views first they got rejected. We already know that, but they were incorporated when the Pakistan resolution or the Lahore resolution took place. So when they got adopted, and finally partition was taking place and the land was being distributed. The Muslim he believed that some of the Muslim communities were left abandoned in India, and they were not incorporated in the land of Pakistan. So he was very he's severely criticized that. However, when partition took place, he was not in Pakistan. He was in London. He came to Pakistan in April 1948, and at that time he had come with the purpose of staying. But since he was very rigid in his views, and he got very unpopular because he was criticizing Jinnah all the time, and he was also very derogatory, when it came to his critical views. So he was expelled by Liaquat Ali Khan, and his property was also confiscated. He died in England in 1951, and he was buried at a local cemetery. So this was the role of Chaudhry Rehmat Ali, how he contributed to the Pakistan movement. Now let's try to look at how are we supposed to answer questions. Supposing if a question is asked, who was Rehmat Ali, and it's a 4-mark question, then you have to write 4 points. It's a must, right? So what are the 4 points that you can write? So the 4 points could be, see, Chaudhry Rehmat Ali. He was a young Indian, a passionate young Indian Muslim. He was a law student at the University of Cambridge. And when the RTCs took place, that is the roundtable conferences, he was present there. So he participated in all those roundtable conferences. And in the third roundtable conference, he came up with his pamphlet Now or Never and introduced the idea of Pakistan there, and the idea of a separate homeland. His ideas were rejected at first, but they finally got accepted in the year 1940. You can also write his date of birth and the day where he left when he left the world. That is he was born in 1897 and died in 1951. So you can remember that fact as well. So with this, you can complete your 4 mark answer, and you will get all. It's more than 4 points. So if you write all these points, there is no way that you will be losing your 4 marks there. Okay. Another question that can come from the topic is, did Allama Iqbal contribute more to the Pakistan movement than Rehmat Ali? Explain your answer. And if it's a 14-mark question, then how are you supposed to answer to this? In the first, you'll first begin with an introductory paragraph. In that paragraph, you have to introduce both the personalities, Allama Iqbal and Rehmat Ali. In introducing them, you can talk about the facts. Who was Allama Iqbal? A poet, a philosopher, a lawyer, a scholar, etc., and his main contributions. Then Rehmat Ali, who was he? He was studying law at the Cambridge University, and his date of birth, and what all he did. Main points. Then you'll come out to the jump out of the next paragraph, where you will pick any of the personalities. You could talk about Allama Iqbal first. In discussing Allama Iqbal first, you'll talk about all of his contributions to the Pakistan movement, or how do you think Allama Iqbal was important for the Pakistan movement. Then in the next paragraph, you'll be talking about Rehmat Ali and his contributions to the Pakistan movement. Finally, you'll be summarizing your answer, and that will be your conclusion, and that's very, very important. You cannot skip that, because that has extra, separate marks. So in that paragraph, you'll be, analyzing which of the two you think played a more important role to the Pakistan movement. It was whether it was Allama Iqbal or Rehmat Ali, and in it was obviously Allama Iqbal who contributed more to the Pakistan movement, because based upon his ideas, the further advancements that were made in the Pakistan movement were made by Jinnah and the other Muslim leaders. Okay, and with this, you can conclude your answer. So this was all about Chaudhry Rehmat Ali. I hope this video was beneficial for all of you. And if you have any questions, you can put them down in the discussion box below, and I'll be more than happy to answer them. Till my next video, I'm signing off. Bye bye.